Hello, welcome again to Module 4. Yes, we are finally in Module 4 of Excel in Data Analysis or Data Analysis for Excel. So we have run down a lot of topics and finally we're reaching the final stretch of this training. Now, we are finally at dashboard creation and reports and observation, where we'll be using the Power Pivots and data models extensively. Now let's move on to what we have today. To get started, please make sure that if the video is too fast, you should reduce the speed. Since in our previous module we have focused on cleaning raw data, putting it in a good format, manipulating it. Now we're going to move on in this module to Power Query, Data Model, and the Power Pivot. For this video, we're going to be solely explaining Power Query in its depth. The Power Query is a built-in Excel tool that is used for reshaping and cleaning and manipulating the data before it is even passed into your Excel worksheet or to your data model. Additional tool, because before we would access our data model or use Power Pivot, the Power Query helps us reshape data and takes in a large amount of data. So you can take data from different sources, databases, online sources, and so on and so forth. So to get access to the Power Query, we would use this data tab. So in our past models, we have touched a lot of things in the data tab except for query view and connections and all of that part. So if you want to get access to the Power Query, these are the tabs we are going to be using. There are different files that you can get access to. If you click that new query section or click the get data section, there is files, database, online services, and web. So we're going to just be working with files and online services because we introduce how to connect database to Excel, and mostly we'll introduce how to connect Postgres to Excel. So this is how the Power Query editor looks like. In its basic form, we're going to be inserting data like this. We're going to be seeing each data popping up like this. So this is a Power Query editor. This is how it looks in real time. It has the Home tab, the Transform tab, the Add Column tab, and the View tab. We're going to be explaining each of these features in great detail as we move on in this video. And yeah, the Power Query tutorial guide involves, or it shows every single thing we're going to be doing physically or practically rather right now. And this is the other one where you can add functions and do other advanced things. Go over it and play around with it as well to get more information. So moving on, we're going to go into our Power Query. But before then, I want us to get familiar with this term, the get, the transform, and the load. Or rather the ETL, which is the extract or the get. Then the T is to transform the data, and then the load is to load it into our Power Query. So these are data we'll be working with. All of this is in our Google Drive. The link is also in the description. So we're going to work with each and every single one of these files. We're going to create a dashboard showing us the different customers and different things for the Sprout Mart. So this is what we'll be working with. So let's jump into Excel as we extract, transform, and load this data. When we open our Excel, we'll move to the data tab. And then from the data tab, we'll see show queries, we'll see get data depending, or you see a new query depending on the type of Excel you're using at a particular weighting. So you click file. We're going to import CSV files. So when we click it, we're going to import our very first file into Power Query, and that's our customer lookup table. Okay, now before our file is imported into Power Query, a window like this will show, asking us whether to load or transform or cancel. So we'll click transform. Now when we click transform, we move directly into the Power Query. As you can see, we have our customer lookup table already in the Power Query. You can see the Home tab like what was shown before, and the Transform tab, the Add Column tab. We can change the name to maybe Sprout Mart Customer Lookup, and we can and if you notice, the file name automatically changes. So whatever we edit here already changes. We change the name of our file, we change every single thing that's to do with the file. So we're going to clean this file and put it in the proper format. So we can also edit the name of the column headers by just double tapping, and then we can change the name there. We can do that for every single column here. And then, you know, our normal practice when we were cleaning in module 3 was to first of all check for duplicates or errors or blank spaces. So, and then check for their data type and give the proper data type to each file. So we're going to do the same thing here. So all of these are already in a proper name. So first things first, we would sort via like ascending order the names. And if we do that, we can see blanks, we can see errors in our customer ID area, and we can see no. We can remove all of this simply by going straight to the remove row tab. Now we are at the Home tab. Whatever we use in this Home tab, is more or less like transform. So the difference between transform and add column is transform transforms a particular column, while add column does the transformation and adds it as a new column. So the home tab, whatever we do there is going to affect the column by itself. So we have removed the errors now, and now we are going to be also adding null to blank spaces. As you can see, there are only few blank spaces there. So as you can see, when we try to remove the ascending order, it's not agreeing to remove or leave. The reason is because for every single thing you do here, the only way for a file to change back to its original form is to cancel the action at the applied steps pane. So when you do something, there's no Ctrl+Z, there's no any of that. You only can go back by canceling your steps. So as you can see, we have all our values in a proper format, and we have been able to, now we're replacing spaces from our files, our column rather, to null. So if you can see, we have done for the customer column, the customer ID column rather, and we're doing for each column, so the ones that have blank spaces. So as you can see, we're putting them in descending order and then checking one after the other. Like I said before, there's the transform tab and there's the add column tab. Now at the home pane, majority of the keys there that involve editing the column, edited in terms of the transform metrics or transform method rather. So transform in the Power Query simply means that whatever you edit, whenever you're trying to edit a column, it automatically transforms just that column. So when you want to replace values, it replaces value from that column and it doesn't add any extra. When you want to do anything, it does it for only that column. The other hand, for add column, whatever thing you do, whether you're adding dates, you are doing any mathematical function, summing, adding, and you're doing a conditional column. I showed all of that previously. I showed all those tools. I told you to pause and go through them. We're going to be using them physically now. Whenever you're doing all of that, it adds it as a fresh column in this particular data. So that is also very helpful, but also it is best and advisable to keep your data as granular level as possible. What do I mean? As simplified as possible. The smaller the amount of columns, the better. You should only add columns for where necessary in the Power Query, so that it will not increase your load time. So we're going to be using all of this right now, and we're going to do each one step by step. The functionalities are quite similar to when we're using our normal Excel sheet. So at the home tab, we saw that there was remove rows, remove duplicates. And we can find that in our data tab, and also you can see there's the field, there are mathematical functions, there is replace there as well, there is append, there is merge. Yeah, there is a part that shows the data type. There is a part that you can split a particular column or words or text in a particular column into two different columns. There's a part of shorting characters. So we'll treat most of this in this entire video. So sit back, relax as we go through it one step at a time. So we're going to go into removing replacing, I've already removed errors. So we're going to replace the spaces or blank spaces with NULL. The Power Query data type is extremely important. You can't mix up a text data with a numeric data. As you can see, we're trying to add NULL, we're getting an error. So all I just did was, instead of NULL, I switched it to writing 0. So for numeric data type, you must put a number there. You can't put an alphabet there, look, you have an error. Now if I put my data in an ascending descending order, you will notice that for the customer ID column, that last pane that was having blank now is having 0. Since this is a numeric data column, it is advisable to use 0 instead. So after cancelling, I can undo. So if I load this, you can see when we remove the errors, it removed all the columns that might have given us issues. So we don't have any M value here because there was an M value there before. So now we can just replace any blank space with null. And yeah, so for me, I prefer the prefix, the full name, and the last name and first name rather to be all together like a full name column. Then let just the last name and first name be there. So we're going to, after we have added blank space, we're going to measure this together and we'll see the difference between transform and add column. We're also going to be doing some using some of the functions in this transform tab. So now I know that some of us will be asking that why does total annual income have null, and why does all of that the next one by it, which is total children, have null? Like I said before, when the file coming with as it is have null, it is fine. But if you want to change a particular value which is a numeric and you want to add null, it will give you an error. The reason why it won't is if that numeric data is not in a whole number format or in a decimal format. If it's in a text format, it will give you an error. So, and even though sometimes it doesn't give you, later on it might give you problems. So it's best to put things in the proper data type. Okay, so as we are replacing the blank spaces with null, also make sure you check the proper data type. Annual income needs to be in currency, total children needs to be in numeric format, date needs to be in a date format, and text needs to be in a text format. So make sure that every single thing is in a proper data type format. The home tab, we have the refresh, we have managing properties, and a lot more that tools. That's for refreshing our Power Query and the data I've added. We can also remove columns, we can also keep columns. So but remember, we need our data to be in its granular level as we got it, just adding a few things. So we should be careful with how we're removing columns, except it is very necessary. And also choose columns using that particular tab instead of choosing manually. We can also go to those columns directly, so we can choose the columns we want to see. As you can see above, the drop down menu showing of each selected icon columns. I can select just one and click OK, and it's just that one that will show in terms of all of them. So remember, if you want to click on, you have to cancel the action. And keep rows, we can remove rows. So if we click the drop down menu of remove rows, we can remove errors, remove duplicates, remove particular rows, and all of that. If you want to keep as well the same thing, we can see a lot more other values that we can play around with. And also split our values like how we did using text to column. So using split column, we can split values in a particular column, and as you can see, it splitted it automatically. When we use slash at limiter, so it's split into the month, the year, and you will notice the previous value has gone. Right, so this is every value that happens in this home tab happens in a transform manner. I've already said this before. We can undo an action normally, like what we said before, by just canceling. Once we cancel, our value is back to the way it was. So next, we're going to work with group by. Now, group by is a very simple thing. In order, we want to just release a particular function or column with maybe an aggregate kind of value. For instance, let's say we want to look for the top total revenue for just the name, individual name. Let's find the revenue of the income. So if we sum all the total income that was gotten in by the individual and call it total revenue, we can have a column of the name, customer name, or first name, and the total revenue or annual income for each customer. But if we do that, it will all our other data will disappear, as you can see above. So it is very much advisable that we can do all of this when we reach our power pivots using DAX methods, measures, and calculated columns. Oh, we can also undo by cancelling. So once that's done, we move on. So we can change the headers to be the very first value, or remove our headers to be the very first value. So most times when you're importing data into Power Query, especially online data, which we will see, the headers are not the headers. The headers will be as columns. So we can use this as an easy trick to just immediately put all the rightful headers or the second first row as headers. So we can use that. We can also we've already done replace values as we have replaced null, so it's the same thing. For merge queries and append, we will use those values later on. Now we'll be moving into the transform tab, and we'll be explaining some of the features there. See here that headers and group by are automatically here. There's transpose, there's count row, and there's reverse rows. So transpose, we all know maths like matrix. We can we're turning a row into a column and a column into a row. So we can do that here. See our data types, we can rename our value. Instead of manually moving our column, we can move our column by that move, using that move tab, as you can see above. And then to undo, you just to click that cancel sign. So we can unpivot our cell or a column. Unpivoting means changing a row to a column and a column to a row. For undistinct rows, so rows that have duplicates, we can use on pivoting. While for transpose, it must be distinct values, it must be unique values. So we can do all that there. See above, we can see here that prefix has turned into all the column underneath it before has turned into its value. You can see that attribute and value. So we can cancel this. We can also convert a value to a list like our data validations, and we can also extract certain aspects of text like we used our text function previously. So you can see these are the different options that we have. Let's try some out, and you can follow along with the video as well. You can see here I clicked 1, which is the first letter, and if we click OK, you can see in the prefix and in the first name it is just the first letter that is there. So if we want to undo it, just to simply cancel, and then we're back to our original state. Or we can also feel like add a cell downwards or upward. So we also have our mathematical sections like our trig sections, our sum, mathematical calculations, sum, average, min, max, statistical functions, and so many other. For the date and time, they're only accessible for a date data type. So we're now going to move on to the add column section. Yes, finally. So using the add column, we are going to merge these 3 columns together that are highlighted using merge columns. Now, if you notice, merge column is different from merge queries. Merge queries merging 2 different queries together, like 2 different, like how now we have customer lookup. If we import the product lookup, that's merging queries together. Merging column is just merging simple columns. So now we have merged this column, and as you can see, all of the values are there. You can see it's not spaced together, so we'll undo and go back, and then when we are merging, we'll add a delimiter called space. Now that we are done with that, we can now move that table and delete the prefix from our data. We can move this way, or we can go to the home tab and move it that way. Anyone you're comfortable with is fine. Okay, so now we have gone through the Power Query extensively. Above you'll be watching me use the mathematical functions to show the difference between transform tab and Power Query. Just follow along. You can slow down the video if it's too fast. Conditional columns, indexing, merging queries, and append will be covered subsequently in the video. So just follow along with this next feature. Next, we'll be importing new files. So we can import files directly here in the Power Query, and we will see that above. Okay, now before we add more data, let's try and load this file. Remember, we are working with the Power Query data model and the Power Pivot. So when we click the drop down icon in load, you can see it's asking us to close and load and close and load to. So close and load to will give us this drop down menu, or give us a drop down menu, and that drop down menu is going to ask us some questions. Do we want to load it to the table, or do we want to load it to a connection? Then we'll have a dialog box underneath that will say, do you want us to add this to the data model? So simply put, we want to add this to the data model and we want it as a connection. So we'll just highlight those 2 panes and click OK, and then we'll allow it to load for a couple of minutes, and as you can see, it is done. So now let's try importing more files into our Power Query and checking them and making sure they're in a proper data type. Since we're already here, let's just use this method for the new query. If yours is get, you can use the get instead, and then we're going to load in our product lookup this time. And then once we do that, we have the preview menu that will pop up, and then after that, when we click transform, because if you click load, it will automatically now load it to the settings you have clicked, or if you click load, so you can change the settings. So if you click transform, it opens like this. You can check the data type, we can check different other things, and you can just follow along with the video. If we want to add directly in Power Query, we'll go to data source, and it's as simple as that. We add from data source, and then we can just change data types, check if there's any blank spaces, and we can just follow along with the video. Hey, and now we have been able to import our product lookup, our product subcategories, and our product categories. As you can see, their data types are all in a good format. We were able to edit the product lookup data type a bit. And yeah, now we'll be moving on to import more data files. Okay, now we'll be importing the calendar lookup table, and in that table we are going to be using art column in its entirety, or using that date field in the art column. So if we had used the date field in transform, we'll change the date, and what we need here is to just add more columns to create a proper calendar that shows the year, the start of quarter, the start of week, the months, the days of the weeks, and so on and so forth. Now, as you can see, if we click the date field and we change the date of using the transform tab, you can see it changes that particular date field. So that's not what we want to undo that, and we're going to go to add column. Now in add column, we need to reference to this particular date field. If we reference to this cell that we just created, it will give us a wrong date field. So you can see we have outputted the year. So we're going to do the same and get the start of quarter. Then we'll get the months, then start of weeks, and then some few date fields. So just follow along. So we kind of had this same thing happen to us in our 500 and 5200 let's say raw data. When we changed that particular year to a date field, it changed. So it's preferable to leave our year in a text-based format as we keep changing. If you notice, the reference is still referencing to that first date. So just follow along as we create more date fields and create a proper calendar. Okay, now we have our date, our year, our start of quarter. Now, if we go to the month pane, we can see there are different month value. There is day, month, the start of month. There is so many other things. So we can select the particular days of the month. We can select different individual values, and we can play around with all of that. But remembering the fact that we need granular data, we don't need a lot of things that has too many values. So we're just going to use start of month rather. So and same thing with the weeks, with start of weeks, and maybe with day name, one or two things, so that from those values we can use our DAX calculated columns to get all these fields as well. And with that, we are done with our calendar table. Now we're going to import both our sales data and our return data into our Power Query. So now we'll be importing the sales data, and we're going to now use the append to add these two lines together, these two different similar data together. The reason why we're adding to these two sales data, because if you notice, it's for different years, exactly the same data, but for different years. We have for 2020, 2021, and 2022. So we need every single thing to be together. So we can add this together using the append queries, but we'll have to add them one after the other, one after the other. And that would be so stressful. But let's just see a demo of how we can append the dates of the other dates of the two different sales data together. And once we append the two other dates, if we filter and if we just click downward, we'll see the dates now move to 2021, or like it being 2020. And if we cancel or rather undo our values, we can see it goes back to being 2020. So this is what append does in particular query. So usually, if we wanted to do this, we have to do this for the three different data and append them step by step by step. So we're going to just have to do that automatically by importing each of the files as a folder. So Excel will automatically append each one together since they are all the same. The other hand, merge queries merge two different queries together. It works in the sense of linear diagram or union, or for sets like A union B, A intercept B, all of those kind of stuff. So this is just a quick demo of how we can use union. I think what we used here was like every single thing in the table together. So it was not able to match properly because there was no likeness in both of them, that you could just add them together, the extra. So when you can see the table that was added, you can see the extra data, we can open it, and then you just see no, because these data do not directly match this particular sales data. So we'll cover merge queries in understanding it in SQL, and it will be very, very, very well understood then. So let's just continue and let's add all our sales data from a folder source, and we'll see how everything will add up automatically. So we're going to delete these two data and we'll move on to adding them as a folder. Now we'll be adding the folder. We're going to just go to data sources and file. We'll see folder there. So it will take us directly to our folder path. We want to select or open the sales data folder. So we'll click it and click open. So once we have done that now, it will show us a menu or a preview of the three data together. So you can see it will ask us to transform data, cancel, or combine and transform. So what we want to do is combine every single thing together and then transform the data. So if we click it, it will add every single file together. So moving on, we'll see a preview showing us all of the files together. Since all of the files are the same, it just appends each one together. So this is how it looks like in real time, and then when we click OK, it loads it into our Power Query. And see all the folder paths has been created, and we can see our sales data. So you can see an extra source column was created for each of the files, so that you can tell you how many there are. Now if we load the sales data and we scroll, you can see 2021. If you scroll down, you can see 2022 and also 2020 at the beginning. So now we have our sales data in our table. Next, we can just edit data types, delete the source table or source column, and yes, that's it. We now have our sales data column in our Power Query. Alright, so next up, we're going to load all of this data directly into our data model. So all we just need to do is to click close and load to, so that you can ask us the question of where we want to load it to. If we close and load it, we load it to the prerequisite functions we have already pasted as before. So if you notice, it's table that is showing, so it would have loaded directly a table. It would have closed to load. So what we just need to do is to change it to connection and add this to the data model, like what we did for our customer lookup. If we don't add it to the data model, it will save as a connection and it will not show in our data model tab. We will see this extensively later on. if I use my mouse to hover about the data like what we did for our customer lookup, you can see a dialog box showing by the left, it's showing edit or delete. So if I click my data model now, you can see all of the data have been loaded into data model. You can see our sales, customer, product subcategories, product categories, and then you can see a diagram and a data view. So this data view shows the data, while the diagram view shows our model view relationships, where we'll start working on relationship in the data model section of this particular course. So when we change it, we can see all different data model, data model rather, different tables, and we'll be linking each of them using connections. And I can't wait for that class, so stay tuned for that. So now we're going to move on to, we have been able to add up all our data, and we forgot to add one, which is the return data. Now if we want to edit anything, we can click edit and we're back directly in the Power Query. So we can add data directly here, or we could just go to new query and just add it there. Whichever way is fine. So you can watch the video above as I add the return data. So here you can see when we click load tool, you can see it's asking for table or only collection. Now we're going to click only collection and load it. So if we load it and we open our data model, we will not see the return data in the data model, and we will not see it in our diagram view either. So we would have to come back here and load it and add the load to the data model so that it will work. Well, yeah, so once that's done, you can add it and then it will automatically now show in our data model. So I would play around this and actually show it with more examples, as you can see above. CSV and online version, both the SQL and the rest of the versions will be covered in the database course or SQL section of this training or this course, which will happen in later days to come or the days to come. So yeah, with that, we are officially done with this part of the training and with this part of this module 4, and we're moving on into the data model. Now the data model, we're going to explain the core idea behind the data model. We're going to touch the schemas and different other things and create relationship. Then we'll move on to the mighty power table. We're going to understand relationship. We're going to do FI's relationship, we're going to do DAX, which is data analytical analysis expressions. So we're going to do that. We're going to understand filtering. We're going to do aggregate, and then we'll build our dashboards and reports, which will be solely automated, and I can't wait for that.